Alright, what's going on YouTube? So yes, I did my unboxing earlier of the PS4 controller, DualShock 4 to be exact. I got some pros, cons about the controller. Like cons, it's not really coming, but this controller's new. I haven't really experienced it with the PS4, but trying it out with the PC, it's pretty good though on games. Like it that ass connects immediately with games, and then when you go to settings, it reads it perfectly with no additional driver install, so that's good. Now with the PS3, okay, mind you, remember, there's no additional start button, there's no select button. The PS button does not work as far as going to home, quitting a game, and whatnot. I'm not sure how to do it. I had to turn off my PS3 manually by pressing the button. I tried clicking here because this touchpad is clickable, but no. I do know that as far as when you're connecting it to the PS3, like I was trying it on COD, tried it on Battlefield 3, tried it on Batman Arkham Origins, and all of them, it worked beautifully on all games. But on COD, that was my first game that I tried it on. I noticed for COD, the share button is used as select. I don't know if that's what they did purposely for the current gen, but I know when you click shared, I noticed it was the select button because I seen the score pull up on the screen. When I clicked on options, the start button, it went to start. So I was like, alright, I could use that for now. But when I was quitting a game, I tried clicking this. I even tried holding this. No, nothing happened. I actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even check if I even talked through that, what it had, enabled. I'm not even sure if I actually forgot if this controller has Bluetooth in it, enabled, such as, the PS Vita, because everyone knows the PS Vita with their their mic that's already installed inside, you was able to talk to people who had the same game as you, and you were playing on ad hoc servers, online games. You was able to talk to them so through that piece, unless you had a headset. So yeah, I thought that was cool. So I actually didn't try that. I'm actually going to try that. I'm gonna see on the settings if you can enable the controller as a Bluetooth. But I do know with the PS, if you connect your headset, the PS4 headset that goes into here, you can talk out through here. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, I know initially the D-pad was inspired by the PS Vita due to the fact that with the PlayStation 3 controller, the D-pad was more thicker, it was more popped out. But also when pressing down, like I'm not trying to say it in big words, big terms to confuse you guys. Let's just put it as simple as possible. Pressing down, it went farther down. Like when you press down, seriously, in some games you require you to really press down on the D-pad, while as for this, you already hear the click immediately is pressing down. Same thing with the triggers, the L2 button and the R2 button. Alright, this was what I was gonna say as a con, but this is my personal opinion, which I'm gonna get over it immediately because I was playing with this shit all day. Now I'm so used to, now let me turn this to the side. I'm so used to the sides right here of the PS3 controller, and the PS4, you can see it's a pinch slimmer on the sides, but you see how the L2 trigger, the triggers in the back triggers, they're thicker up, and they require more of a distance to go down. So you see the PS4 controller is not really as sensitive. It's very tactile. So basically all you have to do is just do like a simple click, and it's immediately response. When I was playing video games, immediately, like COD for example, or Battlefield, like immediately aimed up on sights, or for COD it threw the flash immediately. Now it felt like an Xbox 360 controller because I was horrible in the beginning with it. And playing COD, they required to use the very back triggers as the aiming and shooting, and the front triggers were to throw C4s and flash grenades and shit like that. But with this, it felt just like it because they're so close. They were so close together, and this is pretty. It's a pinch. It's not as small as the PS3's L1 button trigger, but it's a little bit more skinnier. It's just a pinch skinnier, and it's more thinner, and it doesn't require that much. It's really not that sensitive. It's like just simple click right there. So I had to really adjust it's more like you have to keep your hands more upwards rather than keeping them more back. That's how the PS3 controller is. Your hands are usually more back on the controller. I actually like the fact that the the DualShock 4 controller is actually, oh sorry about that. What I do like about the analog sticks is they seem like they're spaced away from like the DualShock 3, unlike the DualShock 3 controllers. Like it seems like as if there's more space between in the middle, but it's not really like that. It's because if you look at here, the actual analog sticks were thicker. They're more like bigger on this around, and this part right here obviously took up space within the center. So that's why it seems like that. But what I do love about this analog stick, 100%, and I was kind of iffy about it, but now I'm honestly, it's actually great for first-person shooters. That's hands down, because the analog sticks they kind of resemble like the Xbox 360, but you see, Xbox 360 just goes all the way down. It sinks in a little bit, the top of here. See, the DualShock 4 is concave, and it has like a little rim around it, and then the sensor comes out like a little bubble. So for the round on your thumbs, it actually planks in. It's like a comfortable feeling. There's no slide offs. There's no, you don't have to put too much pressure while you're playing. So that's what caused a lot of the time for the DualShock 3 controller to always break, because the shit is, and plus, I don't know if you guys can see, but the DualShock 3 analog sticks come out a lot, while the DualShock 4 actually doesn't. And that was actually inspired by the PS Vita, because the PS Vita has the same situation. It's a little concave, but the center comes out a little bit, and it's very thin. Same thing with the PSPs. The analog sticks aren't too popped out. You see, the DualShock 3 is. That's why I always felt like my hands were back while my thumbs were up. But now it seems like everything on my hands is just up on the controller. The front would be. That's because it's more slimmer on the very, like, how you call it, very tactical buttons on the controller. Because as I was playing, I noticed I kept by accident pressing L2 and R2 to aim and shoot. Meanwhile, it's really these two, so I had to bring like everything up. But honestly, the response on it was beautiful. It was the same thing. I'm used to pressing down on the L2 trigger and R2 trigger, so when you press down, you have to really press down and get your shot off. Or for example, this is the aim button, so it was fine. There's really similar when you press down, honestly, but it's just the look of it is different. But the back, say if you're throwing a flash or anything, pressing downwards, it went all the way down. But with this, the response was just quick. So immediately it's right there. It's the hand of your button. I actually enjoy the back of the grips. I was wondering like, what's the purpose, but it actually gives off a good grip for your hands. And plus, I'm actually happy that it's actually pretty long, decent size, because it actually fits your whole hand and it's comfortable to play. It kind of, in a sense, when you first look at it, you're like, this shit look ugly, honestly. And then after a while, you're like, yo, this is like beautiful. Like, that ass is, it's a sexy ass remote to me. And I think the Xbox One remote is sexy as shit too. But one thing, alright, let's just get this real quick out the way. Xbox One is retarded for still requiring batteries. That's the dumbest shit ever. But anyways, doesn't matter about that. Now, one thing they also did too was with the buttons. They actually did it like a flat color, as they did a flat color with the shapes around on it, as the DualShock 3 is just basically a smooth plastic texture on it. So it's the same thing. Plus, just like the PS Vita, it doesn't have nothing's caved in. It just has its circles. See, the PS Vita got a circle, and then outside of the circle is caved in, so that's nothing. But you see, there's no caved in like how the DualShock 3 is, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. See, it has the X, and it's like that. Same thing with the D-pad, and you see the D-pad here doesn't have it either. It just aims like with directions. So I think that's pretty cool. I know the color here actually changed several times depending on the purpose. Like when I went to Netflix, it just changed to like red. I was like, what the hell? So I don't know if it's gonna happen with you guys, but it did for me. And yes, it requires a smaller USB port, micro, just like what they say most Android phones. And I'm still trying to figure out, man, if I'm able to use it for any game or PS3 game, like if I hold it. But I guess not, doesn't matter. But overall, for trying it on a current gen, it works beautifully. There's just several things, like how you quit a game and shit. I still haven't figured it out. PC is remarkable, like that ass. Honestly, for the hardcore PC gamers, I could just imagine that ass. I could just imagine how they're gonna take it further, because if it reads perfectly, if you plug it in and just start the game off, you're gonna be able to use the controller immediately. But I know a lot of people that use their settings, they set up everything, so that's gonna be even better for them. So they're gonna be able to set up everything as they want for the controller, and it's gonna just you can use all the mechanics of the controller, and it works like great. So I think that's a good thing. But yeah, you guys definitely should pick it up from GameStop. Why not? If it's there, why not? Then you have another remote for when the PS4 comes out. There ain't no problem with it. And then you got trust me when I tell you this, it may seem like, alright, it's just another controller, but when you get this controller, it's best you get it early to get yourself used to it and are situated with the controller and you, because it took me a couple, like maybe an hour or two to adjust with, remember, the front trigger, everything is like it's like feels like it's up front. So my hands were more like up here rather than being, I'm used to my hands being back here, my analog stick being back here. You have to actually keep your hands closer. And when you play COD, is actually, you get confused sometimes because you're so used to your hands being like this, and this is L1 and this is R1, and in the back is L2 and R2. But it's actually different. It's like, it's right here. So basically now your hands are like up front. But like I said, try it, buy the remote, try it out, play a game, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But trust me, fast response, everything's great on it. No, like the functionality of the remote is perfect for me. That's my opinion. What's your thoughts on it? And you should, I'm telling you, just cop the shit and then shut the fuck up because it's great. So hey, leave your comments below, and I'll see you guys later with another video. Peace.